This is a very safe zone. Okay, I'm gonna try to answer as many questions as I can for you as well before you ever have to ask them. But please ask these questions. FHA will go down to 530 on an FHA loan. Okay, you got to put more money down. FHA's minimum down payment is how much? 3.5%. 3.5% for FHA. That's down to 580 credit score. Okay, if you want to go under 580, you can go all the way down to 530, but you got to put at least 10% down. VA, our veterans, minimum credit score is 600. Conventional, minimum credit score is 620. The grant programs that we talked about that cover the down payment and some of the closing costs, 620 minimum credit score. You have 3 credit scores, right? Who are the bureaus that do the credit scoring? There you go. They all have a score for you. Now, I'll tell you how many of you guys look at your credit scores on these things right here through like the, Discover or CreditWise for Capital One. They have all these things, right? Those are good scores. They're not the scores I'm looking at. Okay? They're different models. You go to freecreditreport.com. Awesome. Okay, cool. Not the score I'm going to look at. Okay? I think it's very healthy for you to always look at those models because it's giving you guidance and understanding. Knowledge is power, right? To be able to understand what's impacting your scores. But just know when I look at it, it's probably going to be a little bit different. I've seen them sometimes only be 2 to 5 points different, sometimes 20 points different. Okay, it just depends. That's why it's important for us to look at a score early on in the process. Now, how do I get to the score that I'm using? It says 620. How do I get to that score? What's the calculation or algorithm that I use? Does anybody know? Brandon, you can't answer. He's only heard this thing 1,000 times. Okay, so what's the score? How do I get to my score? Is it an average? Do I divide it by 4 and multiply it times 6? I throw out the high, I throw out the low score, and I just use the middle score. It's simple. Middle score. Let's say, your name?
Jacoby.
Jacoby, your middle score is 580. Daisha, your middle score is 750. Uh-oh, we got a 580 and a 750. Which one do I use? The 580. The 580. So basically what I'm saying is if you're out there single and you're dating, you better start checking credit. No, but you have to use the lowest. I know we're sitting here with like 750s in both of them, so it's okay. But the lowest middle of the two individuals. Okay? So then we have to say, okay, do we really need income from one party to make it work? Well, but maybe the income has to be there to qualify for the home. If it doesn't, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of them off of the loan and only use the 750 because the income is there to support it, okay, which is great. Now, what happens is you don't get any benefit, though, from all these on-time payments that you're making on the mortgage. That's not a good thing, but hey, it's better than probably the alternative, which is either staying and renting or a higher interest rate, okay? Now, what you do get, if you're married, you get ownership rights. So in the state of Texas, it's community property, so you're still going to have ownership in the home. You just don't have any responsibility to the liability, okay? So sometimes people like that and like, hey, I don't mind that at all. I get all the upside with none of the risk. You're at a 600, 615, okay? We're going to look at it and say, okay, if you go and pay off this collection, which sometimes paying off a collection doesn't help, right? It actually lowers the score because you're you're reintroducing that collection at a new point in time when that thing's already gone. And so that could lower it. So we have to do what's called a what if analysis to determine whether or not we're in a good place and what we would, if we were to do this, what would happen. Sometimes it's about getting a paid for deletion. So you work with the credit team. They will help you with a paid for deletion letter from the creditor. Then you pay it, and then it deletes it off the credit report, and that removes all history, which then gives us the biggest bump. Sometimes we're going to tell you to go establish a secured credit card, right? A secured credit card over a 45-day to 60-day window can increase that thing 40 points, right? It's really about strategy. Okay, credit is just really a picture. It's a picture in time. Okay, here's what it is today. So what I look at is, whoa, today that $1,000 credit card balance has a limit of 1,000 and a balance of 1,000. Well, that's a negative. That means you're maxed out. No, Bob, I pay it off every month. Okay, you didn't pay it off in time as to when they reported it to the credit card company. So has every one of you called your credit card company and asked them, when do you report to the credit agencies? There you go. You got to know. Because if they may report on the 28th, let's say. Okay, just make sure you pay down your balance to whatever you want it to be on the 20th or 22nd, so that way when they do report, it actually shows what you want it to show. It's a strategy, guys. It's a game plan. You need to work it like that. I don't care if you go up to $1,000 every month. Just show, if you pay it down to $250 every month, and make sure it's down to $250 when they report, and that's what's going to give you the best credit profile. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to determine what do we need to do to go from here to here in the shortest amount of time. But if it can't happen that way, remember there's that yes door, the maybe door, then I need to bring my partners in from a credit restoration side and say, look, there's some things we got to work on. Maybe we are at a 530, we need to get to a 620. What's the habit we need to break? And that habit's typically around slow pays or no pays. And that habit needs to be broken, and then we need time. We need an accountability partner, and we need time to get you there. And that's what they're going to help you with. But if we can get you there quickly, meaning 45 days, 30 days, 7 days, because I can turn around credit, I can get a credit up 10, 15, 12, 15 points in 3 days if you take action on what I'm going to tell you to take action on. Okay? So any questions now on the credit side of it? Anything?
Do they have a program that will give people a house at 530?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's FHA. I mean, FHA go down. Now, I have loan programs that will go down to 500. Okay? It's all going to be a matter of higher interest rates, down payments, right? Where you may get 3.5% down on a 620. You may have to put 20 or 25% down on a 510 or 530, right? You may get 4.5% as a rate. You may be paying 9% as a rate, right? So I mean, oh man, you're paying 100% now. I'm just kidding with you. No, I mean, see, that's right. I mean, you got to understand, it's still that 9% is still better than paying 100% because you're getting forced savings, you're getting equity. Now, is it a long-term loan? Heck no. Let's get you out of that loan. Let's get you credit-wise. Let's get you fixed up there. Then 2 years down the road, we pull you out of that high-rate loan and get you into something that's lower rate. But it's better than still paying the rent.